Welcome to the HR Happy Hour work break. You are here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey, Trish. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Just know this, if I start blinking twice rapidly, that means I need help. I need to be rescued. So I just noticed it's almost like a hostage video, what's happening in my little setup here.
I'm only going to worry if someone shows up behind your head with a machete or something, but you're right.
Awesome.
It's a little plain. You might need a little some art or something on the wall.
Yeah, you can tell I think I'm sort of over all of this now too. Like, remember we spent the first half of last year getting our spaces perfect and the artwork and the lighting, and now I'm like I'm just done caring about it, to be honest with you. And so
I know. Hey, I have something to talk about, to inform you about that might help. So, do you drink brandy?
Yes, I do, Trish. I put on a velvet blazer and some house slippers.
Okay.
No, I do not drink brandy.
All right. I really don't either. And like growing up, my parents would sip on brandy now and then. That was like a 70s thing, I think. Like it was very, but right. You picture having some sort of like an older person who's like sipping on something with a jacket on, whatever. So over the weekend, and I forgot to mention this the other day, I went to the wine trail in Herman, Missouri. So kind of central of Missouri. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of St. Louis. Great place. And of course, tried wine, all of that. But I went to walking down the street. There was a place, I want to get this right, called Ubernachen, and it's like a bed and breakfast. And they do gin and brandy tasting. The brand of brandy was called Edelbrand, Edelbrand. And I'm going to tell you all, I highly recommend this. I think people who are like us, who might not be, we think we're not brandy people. It's one of those things where you have to learn how to taste it properly for it to actually be good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you that's
what all the brandy snobs say, Trish.
No, this is a public service for anyone listening to this podcast or this replay or whatever, right? So no. So these, first of all, the brandy was all clear. So I was surprised by that. I thought brandy had to be dark. It does not.
Interesting.
It's all fermented fruit. And so I tried like pear, grape, and something else. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Anyway, the pear was great. But anyway, so when you're drinking brandy, you have to take a sip, just a little sip, and put it at the front of your tongue and hold it there for like 8 to 10 seconds. All right. That kind of primes your palate to be able, and then when you drink it, because my first drink, I'll tell you, did it all wrong. I just, did my sip and it tasted like rubbing alcohol. It was horrible. I was like, ooh, I can't. And the lady's like, no, do this. She goes, as soon as you swallow, then you're going to just taste the pear. And I'm like, that's not possible. She was right. So sipping brandy is much like whiskey, right? You have to sit with whiskey a little bit in your mouth before you can really, but once you kind of get your palate ready, then every sip you take after actually tastes quite good. So that's my tip on brandy, but I wanted to at least call them out. Their website, they're out of Marthasville, Missouri. It's called edelbrandpuredistilling.com. That's EDELBRAND. So they were really good. I got some and but maybe you should have brandy today, because do you know what today is?
I do know today, Trish. I did prepare. Today is, of course, Cinco de Mayo here.
That's right.
Do you know, Trish, the origin of Cinco de Mayo? Why do we recognize May 5th as Cinco de Mayo? Why is it?
I think I might know, but I think you're going to have to tell me. I think it has to do with, is it the Mexicans fighting the French, maybe? I feel embarrassed.
Very well done, Trish. Because
is that close?
Yeah, you got it. I did not know myself. I looked it up today.
I don't know when that even
The origin of Cinco de Mayo celebrates the Mexican Army's May 5th, 1862 victory over the French at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. Trish, I did not even know the Franco-Mexican War was a thing. I had no idea. Yeah. Plus, that was going on at the same time as the American Civil War.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And France finally, do you know why they were fighting? The French?
No, I don't.
So
I did.
apparently, a lot of the European countries had loaned Mexico money, like bonds or something like that, for
Oh,
various
really?
reasons. And the Mexicans were having, a rough go of it, and the government said, "Hey, we're not paying." Right. And so they
Right.
managed to negotiate some sort of settlement with like the English and maybe the Dutch, whoever else was involved. But the French were like, no, we're not settling. And they sent the boats over to try to, I don't know,
No.
reclaim the money or invade or whatever.
Oh,
That's what they were
goodness.
doing there. And France finally withdrew. No, it took all the way to 1867 before the French said, we're out.
Did it really?
We're out. Yeah. So there you go.
You know what? And I wonder if because when we're in school, we don't really study that, right? But it's probably because it is during Civil War. We study our own Civil War,
Sure.
and that's probably the years over.
I had no memory of that war happening. I don't think I've
didn't
ever
either.
heard
I
of it.
must have heard something about it being with France because I did recall that little bit of it, but I had no idea when or what was going on. So,
Well, good for that. Yeah, I know.
Right after. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say right after this, I'm going to go to a really great Mexican restaurant and celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Can I also just add, I'm going to celebrate Cinco de Huempan. Do you remember Cinco de Huempan?
Vaguely. I think I remember the French War probably a little better. But
no, shout out to our friend Brian Wempen, who I haven't talked to in ages. We always celebrate his birthday, which is actually May 6th. But the big joke was we were all together about a decade ago on Cinco de Mayo for HR Evolution in Chicago. Remember that?
Vaguely. Yes, I remember. I mean, the date.
Our second one.
I
it was our second HR Evolution, and we were all together. So anyway, happy early birthday to Brian Wempen, our friend. He actually was one of the founders of Drive Through HR podcast. He's not on it anymore, but that was
the founder. That seems unfair, but okay.
No, but I think, you know what? I think in our industry, that's a big deal because again, that was about the time you started this podcast and what has now led to the work break. But yeah, I think it's good to celebrate people that are doing innovative things in our industry. And Brian Wempen has certainly been one of them over the years and worked in HR technology himself quite a bit. So hello to our friend.
And speaking of innovative things, Trish, I do want to shout out the H3 HR Advisors Survey, which launched on Monday. And Trish, maybe you want to give a quick update because quite frankly, it's been pretty cool what's happened in the last couple of days.
Can I just tell you, so anyone who's interested in taking this, you can find it. It's posted on Twitter by Steve, by me. It's on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the places you'll find.
H3HR.com. You can find it.
H3HR.com. It's on TrishMcFarland.com now, but please take it. It is our survey on accessibility and in the workplace and the impact that does or does not have on inclusion. So we're specifically looking at that. We've been talking a lot about other ways that people are either included or excluded. Not a lot comes out about people who might have physical or mental challenges. And so that's what we're focused on. And I could tell everybody now, it's been out for 2 days. We have a long list of vendor partners. I'm actually going to recognize them later this week. Who haven't even sent this out yet, but they're sending it to their customers. So a ton, like over 10 vendors in our space coming together to work with us on this project. But just after 2 days, just on social media, have over 1,000 responses. So that was like, I thought if we got 1,000, like I was going to be really happy with that. And in 2 days, so to me, what that says is that this is a really important topic for companies. People are interested in it and they want to hear what other people are doing or not doing, right? Yeah. So take the survey. You will get registered also to win a $100 gift card. But you can leave your name at the end and your email. And if you would like to get a copy of the report will come out later this summer. We're actually going to leave the survey open for a little bit, in order to get, I don't know, what's our stretch goal right now? 10,000? 20,000 responses?
Yeah,
I don't know, right?
It's kind of like the vaccinations, right? They said like, let's get 100 million vaccinations out. And then it's like, no, let's make it 200 million. Let's go do that. So, yeah.
So anyway, I'm so thrilled.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
All of the people who are taking time. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes to take the survey. And I do think
45, you mean 4 or 5. Okay.
Yeah. /5, 4 or 5 minutes. It's quick. Yeah. It's a quick survey. It really just is trying to figure out if your organization and what is one that you're doing things to, actively try to hire people with mental or physical challenges? Or once they're hired, if you are hiring them, are you then continuing on with education and resources? And it's not just about making accommodations, but that could be part of it too. So, but it's really about going out of your way to attract and then make someone feel included, even if they have what is a perceived disability.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we were thinking about
yeah.
this for a while, and then we happened to hear from someone in an event we were at. I won't say the specifics about it, but the person was really specifically saying, "Hey, some of the technologies we're using in our HR function here are just not as accessible as they need to be." And she had a story about why that was happening there, and it was a big issue for her. And so we were so glad that we're about to start asking people about this, because it really is an issue that's it's underserved and understood. Can that even be a word? Understood? I don't know.
Misunderstood. No, I think you're right though. But yeah, I think just the fact that if you put together a survey like this, get it out in less than 48 hours, it was about 40 hours, had over 1,000 responses already. So please keep sharing that. Share it with your friends.
I only took it 4 or 5 times myself. So that's pretty good.
You're so fun. All right. Anyway, listen, hey, we've gone over our time with everyone. Please take the survey. If you have any questions, contact Steve, contact me. If you have accessibility issues you would like to share, we are going to be spending our time over this next year or more sharing those stories on the podcast as well. So we're open to suggestions specifically around people maybe with visual impairment, hearing impairment, autism, any type of mental or physical disability, and how you're helping in your workplace to overcome that. We would love to have stories of that actually on the show.
Yankee fans, even.
Yankee fans. Oh my gosh. On that note, thank you all for listening in. Thanks for taking time to take a work break with us. We will catch you back here in 2 days. Bye for now.